Hello children, this is my second video on chapter 4, materials, metals and non-metals. In my last class, we have seen physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals. We completed the physical properties. In chemical properties, we had done reaction with oxygen. We saw how metals react with oxygen and how non-metals react with oxygen. Today, I am going to take the second property, that is reaction with water. Let us see how metals and non-metals react with water. Let us take sodium metal. It is very reactive. It reacts with oxygen. So therefore, sodium is stored in kerosene. Now let us see activity 4.5. Activity 4.5. So take a beaker, 250 ml beaker. Now we carefully cut a small piece of sodium metal and we dry with a filter paper. We dry the piece of sodium and wrap it in a piece of cotton and then put it in the beaker. When reaction stops, touch the beaker. How do you feel? Has the beaker become hot? So yes, the beaker has become hot. Then this solution is tested with red and blue litmus paper. Is the solution acidic or basic? So if we test it with red and blue litmus paper, we see that it converts red litmus paper to blue. That means it is basic in nature. Sodium hydroxide is formed. Sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas is formed, and sodium hydroxide is basic in nature. So in this reaction we have seen, in 250 ml beaker we take water and then we add a piece of sodium and then the reaction takes place. The beaker becomes hot and after testing we found that it is basic in nature and hydrogen gas is also formed. Now in this, sodium reacts with water. Some other metals do not react. For example, iron doesn't react so fast with water, and non-metals also do not react with water, though they may be very reactive with air. For example, phosphorus is a non-metal. It is very reactive with air. We cannot keep phosphorus exposed to air. It will catch fire. So phosphorus is stored in water. Now next property is reaction with acids. Let us see how metals and non-metals react with acids. So for this we are going to see activity 4.6. In this, some samples of metals are taken in test tubes A, B, C, D, E, F. And with the help of a dropper, 5 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid is added to each test tube one by one. Then we observe the reactions carefully. If no reaction occurs in the cold situation, then we warm the test tube. And then we bring a burning matchstick near the mouth of each test tube to see whether any gas is produced or not. So let us see table 4.5, reaction of metals and non-metals with acid. So in beaker A, magnesium ribbon, metal. Beaker test tube B, aluminium foil, it's a metal. Test tube C, iron. Test tube D, copper. Test tube, they all are metal, A, B, C, D. Test tube E and F are non-metal, charcoal and sulfur. So let us see first magnesium ribbon. So when magnesium ribbon, dilute hydrochloric acid is added and it is warmed, we see magnesium chloride plus H2 is formed. Mg plus HCl gives MgCl2 plus H2. Hydrogen gas is produced and magnesium chloride. And magnesium, when it reacts with sulfuric acid, magnesium sulfate and hydrogen gas is produced. So in both the cases we see that hydrogen gas is produced. In beaker D, we see that copper does not react with hydrochloric acid, but it reacts with sulfuric acid. Then sulfur, it reacts with hydrochloric acid to form sulfur chloride plus hydrogen gas is formed. So is there a difference how metals and non-metals react with acids? Non-metals generally do not react with acids, but metals react with acids and produce hydrogen gas that burns with a pop. With matchstick we can test it. Or also we have seen that copper does not react with dilute hydrochloric acid even on heating, but it reacts with sulfuric acid. So we have seen the third property, reaction with acids. Metals reacts with acid, salts and hydrogen gas is formed. Now reaction with bases. Activity 4.7. Let us prepare a fresh solution of sodium hydroxide in a test tube by dissolving 3 to 4 pellets in 5 ml of water. So we have prepared a solution of sodium hydroxide, and then we drop a piece of aluminum foil into it and then bring a burning match. What happens? Observation. We hear a pop sound. What is the meaning of this pop sound? It indicates the presence of hydrogen gas. So metals react with sodium hydroxide to produce hydrogen gas. So that means metals reacts with bases. Sodium hydroxide is a base and produces hydrogen gas. Now, reactions of non-metals with bases are little more complex. Now let us see displacement reactions. Displacement reactions, for this we have to see activity 4.8. Let us take 500 ml beakers and label them as A, B, C, D and E. And 50 ml water in each beaker we take. And then in each beaker we drop substances which are indicated. Metals and non-metals both. Let us see. In beaker A, copper sulfate. In beaker B, copper sulfate. In C, zinc sulfate. D, iron sulfate. E, also iron sulfate. So, what happens in beaker A? Copper sulfate plus zinc granules. Copper sulfate plus zinc. CuSO4, this is a reaction. Copper sulfate plus zinc. CuSO4 plus Zn gives ZnSO4 plus copper, which is red in color. This is displacement reaction taking place in beaker A. Now in beaker B, copper sulfate plus iron. CuSO4 plus iron, Fe. So we get iron sulfate plus copper. So in both these reactions we see in reaction A and B, zinc is displacing copper. In reaction to beaker B, iron is replacing copper. Now beaker C. Now we will see beaker C. In beaker C, copper is not able to replace zinc from zinc sulfate, because in beaker C, zinc sulfate is there. In beaker C, zinc sulfate plus copper, but copper cannot replace zinc. And in beaker D, iron sulfate plus copper, and here also copper cannot displace iron. Why? Why it is not able to displace? That means zinc is more reactive than copper and iron. A more reactive metal can replace a less reactive metal. That is why in beaker A and B, copper is replaced by zinc and iron. But in beaker C, copper cannot replace zinc, which is more reactive than copper. In beaker D and E also. So what do we infer from this? That more reactive metals can replace a less reactive metal, but a less reactive metal cannot replace a more reactive metal. That is why in beaker A and B, copper is replaced, whereas in C, D and E, the displacement reaction cannot take place. Now we see uses of metals and non-metals. Metals have many uses, we know that. Metals are used in making machinery, automobiles, aeroplanes, trains, satellite, industrial gadgets, cooking utensil, water boiler, etc. So there are many uses of metals. Now let us see the uses of non-metals. Non-metals is essential for our life, which all living beings inhale during breathing. That means oxygen. Without oxygen, no life is possible. Second, non-metals used in fertilizer to enhance the growth of plant. We add non-metals to soil. For example, sulfur, nitrogen, urea, all these are non-metals. They are added in the soil used as fertilizer so that plants grow. Non-metals are used in water purification process. Charcoal is also used here. Next, non-metal used in the purple colored solution which is applied on wound as an antiseptic. Non-metals are used in crackers. You may add some more uses of metals and non-metals from your experience. You can write 2-3 uses from what you know. Then, I found that magnesium is found in plants. This you have to find. In what form they are found? Doctors reported iron deficiency in my body. Where is iron in my body? Where is iron in the body? Now, these questions you have to answer. Now just let me revise what you have done in class 7. You have learned that in a chemical reaction, new substances are formed. These substances are different from those which underwent the reaction. For example, let us give a simple example. Water. Hydrogen and oxygen combine together to form water. Hydrogen is a gas, oxygen is a gas, whereas water is liquid at room temperature. If a substance cannot be broken down by further chemical reaction, cooling, heating, or by electrolysis, it is called element. So in 7th standard, you already have learned what is an element. Sulfur is an element. Carbon is an element. The smallest unit of an element is called atom. For example, an atom of sulfur would be exactly the same as the atom of solid or vapor in any form. It will be same. So in 7th standard, you have already studied what is element, what is atom, even molecules you have studied, and you have also studied metalloids. That we have on one side metals, other side non-metals, and then we have one more group that is called metalloids. They possess character of both metals and non-metals. They come between metals and non-metals. They possess some of the properties of metals and some of the properties of non-metals. So students, with this we finish the lesson, and please read the points to remember also. Go through them. It's a revision that you have learned. It's a revision. Read this. Then I will send you notes. Then you complete the notes also. Then you complete the notes. I think Hemlata madam has already done the written work for 8th standard. So with this, I finish my video of explanation of chapter number 4. If there is any doubt, please message to me. I will try to solve all your doubts. Thank you.